On My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We're looking at a very, very interesting team today. I love watching South Africa, and yet it's a team that's so full of contrasts. Day in, day out, they seem such a good side. They come to the big tournaments and they are different. The team built around 5 veterans, so probably playing their last World Cup, and yet if they have to have any chance at this World Cup, then their 3 young guns will have to deliver. I'll tell you who I'm talking about as we go along. Up to 2018, I said, wow, South Africa, but something has happened since 2018. You look at the number of runs they've scored, suddenly that's starting to drop off, and I think there's one big factor for South Africa. We always talk about Virat Kohli and the others in hushed tones almost. South Africa had a limited over superstar, and I think their fortunes have coincided with the fortunes of Harsha Bhogle. He's been a magnificent player for them, but post 2018 he's just fallen off a cliff. You look at the mighty Hash and say, go on, because he's one of the most popular players around the world, but since 2018 his form has taken a beating, and that is why that partnership, Harsha Bhogle and Quinton de Kock, which was the heart and soul of South Africa's batting, that has suddenly just gone. And now you look at South Africa and think, right, who's not there? Harsha Bhogle is virtually not there. For South Africa to have a big chance at the World Cup, they want Amla to come storming back. They're not sure. You can see that in the utterances before the World Cup, and that's why Markram is in that squad. Who else is not there? Big hole down the middle. I don't know if it was political reasons. I don't know if it was just one person thinking differently, but you have AB de Villiers available to you and he doesn't play the World Cup, and you think it's a team that's defined by AB not being in it as much as it's defined by the World Cup not featuring on their mantelpiece. But what are the pluses for them then? I think the biggest plus is Quinton de Kock. We saw how good he can be when he came here and played the IPL for the Mumbai Indians. Quinton de Kock averages 50, he's got a strike rate of 100 plus since the World Cup of 2015. And if South Africa is still looking good, if they're still number 3 on win percentage, it's because Quinton de Kock has taken a lot of, started playing the role that Harsha Bhogle used to play. So Quinton de Kock, big part. Who else has to do well for South Africa? David Miller is a bit uncertain. JP Duminy is just coming back. Van der Dusen is just coming into the side. That's why I think Faf du Plessis at number 4 has to play a big part if South Africa have got to advance at this World Cup. Do they bat deep? No team has had better seam bowling all-rounders in their history than South Africa has. What do they have in this side? Cricbuzz bats at number 7, and then suddenly you're looking at Steyn, Rabada, Ngidi, Tahir. For the first time, South Africa's batting just falls off after 7. They can play Morris, but that means there's no Steyn. If Steyn gets injured, then the bowling starts to suffer a little bit. So it's a rare South African side that doesn't bat all the way down to number 10. And that's why I think if the big guns, if the experienced guns in JP Duminy and Harsha Bhogle come into form, then South Africa start to look different. Otherwise, I just get the feeling with the batting, they're over-reliant on Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis. But what about the bowling? I think South Africa have probably one of the best bowling combinations at the World Cup with Rabada, Ngidi, Steyn and Tahir. Cricbuzz is a perfectly good 5th bowler in that side. It's amazing how often he picks up wickets, and he's no bunny. He comes in and bowls 135, 138. He can pick up wickets too. But as I said, if Steyn is not playing, then suddenly you're looking at Morris, you're looking at Proteas, and suddenly that side doesn't look as well. So just as we talked about Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis, I think we need to look at Lungi Ngidi and Kagiso Rabada. Rabada has been one of the shining lights of world cricket. We talk about Bumrah in India. Rabada is the equivalent in South Africa, whether he's playing Test cricket or T20 or 50 overs cricket. He's got over 100 wickets from 66 games, and that's extraordinary. And it's coincided in recent years, Rabada's form, with the arrival of Lungi Ngidi. He hasn't played a lot of 50 overs cricket, but his strike rate is excellent. He gives you wickets, does Ngidi. But can they be confident about his fitness? Ngidi keeps developing all these little niggles, and for South Africa to do well at this World Cup, they'll want Rabada and Ngidi to be really fit, so that behind them Imran Tahir can come and work his magic. They've also got Tabraiz Shamsi if he comes along. Again, a spinner who's a wrist spinner who gives you wickets but doesn't bat. So they've got to balance that batting and bowling aspect all over again, even if Tabraiz Shamsi plays. So let's look at that South African side then, the point I raised right at the start. The 5 veterans playing their last World Cup. There's Amla, there's Du Plessis, Dumini, Steyn and Tahir, and the 3 young guns who'll have to do so well for them. Quinton de Kock at the top and Rabada and Ngidi with the ball. So can South Africa make it? You know, you want South Africa to do well because there's been so much talk about them choking, about them not doing well. But for South Africa to win this World Cup, it will be equivalent to the Rugby World Cup of 1995. That is so much part of their folklore. Can they do it? I'm not quite sure. I think if they make the semi-final, they'll have done really well, but not quite.